Hello. Hello. This video about how not to fail audit even if you're absolutely ready. You think your company went through 20 successful audits, you already have certification, and a lot of things changed in the last 2 years. We have more and more remote audits. Even if we have on-site audits, you certainly have 2 or 3 key employees who is attending audit remotely, and this is the fail point. First important thing, it's communication. Communication is really important, and not communication only in your company, the communication to auditor. This is the first and most important advice. Ideally, all people cameras are on who is attending remote audit. Even if you do on-site audit or auditor also on-site, but some of the people joining the meeting remotely, ask them to turn camera on, especially if you do audit in a conference room. In a conference room, if you can imagine auditor sitting in front of his screen, here of his screen, there is one label, conference room. Many voices, what's interrupting each other. Auditor has no idea who is speaking, who is in the conference room, and it's make us very uncomfortable. And if it's happened for the very first hour of the audit, you have all chances of fail because of that misunderstanding. We don't know who is attending meeting. We don't know if you have the full commitment for the meeting. Yes, you listed people. Yes, they introduced each other. You just have to imagine what we have 2-3 audits per week with 10-50 attendees. It's really challenging to remember all names, faces. Sometimes I feel like people can rely on the pictures, face to the names. But the problem is, if the auditors outside of your organization, we don't see the pictures on the user on the Teams or on the Zoom. We would see only initials or sometimes names of the room. So we don't see who actually are speaking if it's conference room, or we don't see the faces if it's people who's sitting in the conference room and they're not speaking in the microphone of their computer. So all that creating huge misunderstanding and miscommunication. The ideal situation if all cameras are on and everyone in time in the meeting. If people sitting in the conference room, the ideal situation if everyone joining the meeting from their own computer, also muted of course, but at least you can see on a screen, on a picture, who is talking, who is in the conference room is talking. If you are attending audit as an employer, please always turn your camera on. So the maximum effort, everyone has to turn cameras on and introduce themselves. Minimum effort, just turn all camera on. That would help a lot. Second important point, it's organization. Organization means facilitation and coordination of the audit. First important advice, don't be late. And you would think, who would be late on an audit? I had a few audits where compliance manager was late for the opening meeting for 45 minutes. Don't take me wrong, everyone understands what we have unforeseen circumstances, we have family emergency, something happened, audit agenda can be always changed, but you have to tell about this so everyone would know what you want to change your slot of the interview. If you didn't tell anything and just don't appear, that looks strange, and it's a major nonconformities. Major nonconformities would call lack of commitment. Very serious nonconformities. Another point for organization facilitation audit, especially related to the remote audit, is to use more visual. Don't tell about things, show everything. And that is very important for the first 5 minutes of the audit. When auditor finishing opening meeting presentation, it's a 5 minutes awkward pause, and then auditors start asking questions. So can you tell me about your organization? Nobody knows what to tell. So you have to be prepared. It's the first hour of the audit. It's very important to leave the good impression, to set the audit on a good note, on the good tone. From 500 audits, what I done, it was probably 3 or 5 only where the company created the great opening meeting presentation and had absolutely flawless this first hour of the audit, which definitely set the good tone of the audit. Based on my more than 500 audits and my more than 25 years of experience, yes, I'm very old, let me present you opening meeting presentation template. I built this template, prepared this template based on all audits what I saw and how I would like to see that as an auditor, as an ISO auditor, and how you can spend 20% of effort, fulfill 80% of guarantee of the audit outcome using that ISO template, which will set tone for the entire audit based on the first 30 minutes. So let's have a look. Opening meeting presentation, it's for ISO 9001, but you can align, you can adjust that for any other ISO audit. So it's just an example, and it doesn't have any kind of specific for ISO 9001. It just to give you a gist what it should be here. You have to use always control the document, template, revision 1.0, and when the revision developed, November 2023. So that means what it's related to the template for the opening meeting presentation for the ISO audit, not for the content of the presentation. And it show to an auditor what you have a really great document control implementation. What? How we have to? Okay. Agenda of the opening meeting, company overview, scope of the organization, organizational structure overview, and organizational structure overview and detailed location overview, process map. If everything here look like a really gibberish to you or really confusing or the same, you will see better in all details. Here is usually company start any presentation from delivering the mission or culture or the main point in the company structure. So this is the good place to start from that. Don't base the entire presentation around that. The auditor is not who you will be employing or not your customer. You don't need to spend 30 minutes of the presentation explaining your mission or your culture. So this is a great place to just briefly start with it. And another part, it's really good to explain the auditor scale of your organization. And if we do the site audit, if you're responsible for the site audit, that would be the great place where you show the numbers what related to the entire organization as an umbrella. And to the site, where is that site placed in the entire organization? For example, the entire organization is 7 years in operation, and you can say this site is only 2 years in operation. It's established 2 years ago. 3 million in revenue for 2023. It's for the entire organization, and also can tell what is it for the site. 180 employees, absolutely the same. You can tell what FTE employees for the entire organization. It's this much, and for the site this much. So you understand the assignment. You have to show the place of this particular unit in a global corporate organization. If it's franchising, you can show this particular site or other sites what you have in your franchising what you own. Or if it's the part of the corporate global organization, you can also show the auditor the scale of what we're auditing today and what is the bigger part of the company, of the corporation. Here I have an example. Everything, all names of the models of the drone and software made up by me, so it's not real. And if it's real, it's
coincidence. So it's not kind of a real name of the models. For example, this company, fake company, what I created, made up as an example for this presentation, have two model of drones, what they design and develop from scratch and what they build and selling, and two pieces of software, and two models, main models. Maybe they have more than two models, but this is the main models what they making the biggest sale, what is the kind of target for this for this particular cycle of the audit. So this industrial grade surveying drone, its name and its features, high performance photography drone, and the two pieces of software, flight management software and AI powered image processing software. For me, as for auditor, I already outlined the area of the audit, what I need to look into to better understand the quality management system when I see the product and services range. And this is another really important part. So I would like to kind of highlight for you what is really important to outline for the auditor, maybe even provide the auditor these slides of from your organization where you would introduce the team who is related to that audit, or who is related to the quality management system but cannot be present on this audit, maybe some of those people, and you would put the name and the picture and the face, and also describe the responsibilities. And I would say what when you are listing the name and the role, it would be the role what you use in organization. But when you listing the responsibility, it would be responsibilities what related to the management system and to the audit, because sometimes it's really not obvious. For example, the compliance manager, what compliance it would be. And here I put what this Matt person responsible for ensuring the company's adherence to ISO 9001 standards. So auditor understands what this person, what role this person playing in that audit. So this is really important to show the picture of the people, especially if it's remote audit, and their name and what role they're playing in this particular audit. And after, we would go to the top level organizational structure, where we show if it's site audit, we will show entire organization and what is the place of this site. Why we're showing that? Because sometimes the compliance team, the quality assurance, the informational security specifically team is not reporting directly to the CEO of this site, but reporting either to informational security department, to the corporate unit, maybe in different country, maybe in different units. So it's very important to show the overall structure of the company and show all people what related to management system, to the audit in this overall structure, who they reporting and how they placed in overall organizational structure, and what is their location. After, we're going to the physical buildings, physical feature of the site. And here I would suggest you to go through the Google Map, top view Google Map, or make a screenshot to put in presentation. It would be even easier, and just walk through showing to the auditor, especially if it's remote auditor. On-site audit, it's also very useful because we cannot just see the bird view, we cannot just see top view, right? And you know better the site than any other person. And sometimes I hear why we need to show that. You can see this on a Google Map. But I can see this on a Google Map, but I need your explanation how those areas related to certain audit. For example, if it's quality, I would like to see where design and development, where software development team is sitting, where is the production, where is assembly, where is the testing site, and where is the warehouse and logistics, even where the employee parking is. If it's environmental ISO, I also need to see the facilities what related to the water recycling, to the water treatment, facilities what related to the painting, maybe painting booth. So anything what related to the production or services or any business activities. And from your side, the more you tell auditor is the better, because auditor will see the part what we need to see for the audit. And this is impossible to schedule or make the proper audit agenda before you will know the company. And this is really helping maybe to adjust the agenda of the audit if something is not as be expected. So in this case, when we look at the map, if it's informational security, we will be looking at the physical security, access to the building, CCTV around the buildings, where building is located, and how many employees working on site in a hybrid mode, or how many people working remotely. And after that, I would suggest to go through the layout inside of the building and show the relevant area, the same to the quality management system, to the environmental management system. Informational security, we will show the different access level to the different areas. For example, server room would have a highest access, media storage, something like that. And you will walk auditor through each site, and auditor may ask you some questions. And yes, we definitely will have virtual audit, virtual tour after that. If I will be on site, we will have a tour on the building, but it will be way easy to understand the different features related to the different ISO management system, especially if you have 3 or 4 or 5 ISO, when you will show the auditor this layout with detailed explanation before the virtual tour or before the tour on site. Another slide, it's a process flow. So you have to divide all process flow in organization into different chart, and this is just top level overview chart, not very detailed, just maybe 4 steps or 3 steps where you will show what you actually do, when you will show what you actually do, and the auditor will see important point what need to cover in the further audit from the quality point of view or from the informational security. For example, here the process flow is engineering, where we are walking through design and development parts. And from the feasibility part, from the outlining of market expectation or customer requirements, to the design and development and the design validation testing. And the same process flow would be related to the manufacture and assembly. If company do the software development, it's not any difference from the engineering, even if you have half of the engineering processes, mechanical engineering related to reflected into waterfall processes, or software developing reflected to the agile processes, it still need to be reflected on the process flow map. Yes, as I said, engineering, manufacture, and software developing. Other slide is quality objectives, and just you have to understand what in an audit, we will go through all this area in more details with the relevant department, with the relevant people. But here you just have to show the overall structure, overall chart of how it's look like for the company. So the quality objectives 2024, for example, it's what we, our company who is doing drone production, software developing, what we're planning to do, what is the most important part for us in a quality management system perspective. in 2024. It's related to the product, software, and on-time delivery. So we have three objectives. If it would be informational security audit, it would be informational security objectives for 2024. And company cannot have 20 objectives or say, oh, everyone understands our objectives. This is mandatory part of the ISO, and I think it's the most important part to understand how your business actually functioning, how everyone is going in the same direction, to have clear and transparent measurable objectives. So here we're stating overall objectives in the opening meeting, just to understand what we will be talking about. And further down, we're going to look into our audit agenda, because it's really important after auditor saw what you actually do on site, after the auditor saw your important part of the organizational structure of the business activity. Now we can review the audit agenda. It's very important, even if the audit on site, to review the different time zone for the different department, because some of the department can attend meeting from the different time zone. And if, for example, in a schedule, you just realize when you were talking to the auditor, or when the auditor realized what, for example, software developers will be attending this meeting at the middle of the night, it's not the good audit organization. So you have to propose the changes in the schedule. Let's say to move the interview to the different day. So it would be the more convenient, more appropriate audit time for both sides, for auditor and for this department. And it would be great if you would also put the faces of key people for this topic who will be covering this topic, and show at one chart all schedule. For example, this is 5-day audit, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. And I didn't actually change this part. It was as it was in a template. So this part how it should be. When on Monday you put agenda, topic, and role and responsibilities, team and time zones. And it would be great if you would put the key people who would be covering those topics, and their pictures, or at least one person picture. Usually one time zone always occupying one block, and it's 4 blocks in each day, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, and 2 hours, with the breaks between them. So that would be the great representation for an auditor, what teams will be the leading teams in each time block. And after you can go through the more specific audit agenda, and it would be more not for the auditors, but for the larger team of the company. If it's more than 10 auditors in a team, it would be also really important. Why? I will explain you. Because on the day 1 and on the day 5, on the first day and on the last day of the audit, we have larger team attending online meeting, attending offline meeting, and it's opening meeting, it's management commitment, leadership meeting. So a lot of people attending those meetings, and it's very expensive for organization, for the company to hold all those key people together on those meetings. And because of that, it's very important for everyone not to be late, not to delay anyhow this schedule. So when you're outlining the schedule like that, everyone understands if I'm attending a meeting as a larger team on a day 1 or day 5, I cannot be late, I cannot ask to postpone this meeting or move this to the different time, because there is 200 other people who will be on that meeting. And if it's, for example, factory tour on a day 2, it's scheduled on this day for also for a certain reason. When the factory doesn't have the maintenance shutdown, doesn't have cleanup or something like that, or doesn't have operational weekly operational meeting, so that should be on this time. And smaller team and specific team, day 3, day 4, we can align schedule if we talk with the team and we propose the different schedule, or the team also can propose the different schedule. So that would be also really helpful to understand the difference for each day. And the purpose of the opening meeting is to give better understanding to the auditor and the auditor team of what your company actually does, and what business activity you do on this particular site, and how it's fit what is the specific and overall organizational structure. And everyone who will attend opening meeting can better understand the audit schedule, and auditor will better understand the company or site structure. It can raise a lot of questions to the audit agenda, and this is the best time to realign the audit agenda if something is not appear as you expected it to be. So this is the best time to realign agenda. And this pretty much all what you need to cover on the opening meeting to make the audit experience the best experience for you and for your auditor. And if you do that, this first 1 hour of audit will guarantee you 80% of the successful audit outcome, successful audit results, because the auditor will know what you prepared. You know what the auditor expected from you, and all other topics will be kind of realigned with that first impression from your company, from your site, from your compliance team. Highly recommend you prepare like this for your next audit, and you can use this as a kind of baseline. And I have this template available on my website, Bobkova.ONLINE. Subscribe on my YouTube channel and subscribe for my website news. That's pretty much all. Find me on LinkedIn. I also post a lot of materials on LinkedIn, and you can ask me any questions.